can afford to run, will run.
My name is Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis. We have employed state-of-the-art technology using fiber optic cable across the island of Nevis and using CCTV surveillance. The idea here is a commitment from my government to have a safer and more secure island for our citizens and residents. And so this was a massive investment made by us in running fiber optic cable across the island and putting in cameras and in commissioning just recently this center, which acts as a nerve center for the entire system island-wide. We are taking and using technology to take security to the next level here on the island of Nevis, and we're very proud about this collaboration that we've done to create for the island a much safer and secure environment. My name is Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis. We have employed state-of-the-art technology using fiber optic cable across the island of Nevis and using CCTV surveillance. The idea here is a commitment from my government to have a safer and more secure island for our citizens and residents. And so this was a massive investment made by us in running fiber optic cable across the island and putting in cameras and in commissioning just recently this center, which acts as a nerve center for the entire system island-wide. We are taking and using technology to take security to the next level here on the island of Nevis, and we're very proud about this collaboration that we've done to create for the island a much safer and secure environment. My name is Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis. We have employed state-of-the-art technology using fiber optic cable across the island of Nevis and using CCTV surveillance. The idea here is a commitment from my government to have a safer and more secure island for our citizens and residents. And so this was a massive investment made by us in running fiber optic cable across the island, in putting in cameras, and in commissioning just recently this center, which acts as a nerve center for the entire system island-wide. We are taking and using technology to take security to the next level here on the island of Nevis, and we're very proud about this collaboration that we've done to create for the island a much safer and secure environment. My name is Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis. We have employed state-of-the-art technology using fiber optic cable across the island of Nevis and using CCTV surveillance. The idea here is a commitment from my government to have a safer and more secure island for our citizens and residents. And so this was a massive investment made by us in running fiber optic cable across the island, in putting in cameras, and in commissioning just recently this center, which acts as a nerve center for the entire system island-wide. We are taking and using technology to take security to the next level here on the island of Nevis, and we're very proud about this collaboration that we've done to create for the island a much safer and secure environment.
And I am running for the constituency of Nevis 10. And I'm here because I want to be re-elected to continue to serve the people of constituency Nevis 10 and the people of Nevis, and by extension the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I believe that I have what it takes to represent, and to represent well. I believe that representation requires commitment, dedication, passion, and service with compassion. I believe that I bring all of that and more. I believe that I bring the energy that is required to go to Bastille and to represent, and represent well.
My name is Alexis Jeffers. and I am the proud representative of Nevis 11, which includes St. Thomas and St. James. I have been the representative of this proud constituency since June of 2020. You have said in the past that you needed quality representation. You needed serious representation and dedicated representation, which was lacking for 20 years prior to 2020. So I'm asking the people of St. James and St. Thomas Parish once again to repose your confidence, your trust in me once again to go back to Bastia and champion your cause there as your representative of Nevis 11.
My name is Mark Brantley, and I'm the proud leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement and the exceedingly proud representative of the people of District 9, comprising the parishes of St. John's and St. Paul's. Since 2007, the people of Number 9 have voted for me consistently and have sent me to Bastia. Election after election, they have reposed their trust and confidence in me. Some say, why should we send you to Bastia? I think the answer is simple, that in me you have someone who is committed, someone who's dedicated, and someone who's strong. Someone who will stand up in Bastia for what is best for my constituents and best for the island of Nevis. My name is Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis. We have employed state-of-the-art technology using fiber optic cable across the island of Nevis and using CCTV
and all of the
surveillance.
surrounding
The idea
areas.
here is a commitment
Good
from my
evening to
government
all
to
of
have a
you
safer and
who
more
are
secure
listening to
island,
us
faster.
via all of the social medias, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of the different medias that you could think of. VON Radio, we are here in Cherry Gardens. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the voice of the Concerned Citizens Movement Party, and we are about to start our public meeting here in the Cherry Gardens area. But as is customary, before we start any of our meetings, we always start with a word of prayer. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you once again to ask for your guidance, your blessings on us this evening as a party, as a country, and as a people. We ask, dear Father, that you open the eyes of my people so they may see, that you open the ears of my people so they may understand what the speakers on this platform will be saying to them this evening. We ask that you grant them the wisdom that they may know the difference between truth and lies. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you continue to bless and guide us throughout this entire campaign. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen of Cherry Gardens and the surrounding areas, and to all of you who are listening via the various media houses, we're here this evening simply because we trusted and we supported an individual. And that individual unfortunately, has turned ungrateful and has decided to treat Nevis in particularly unfairly. So we are here as a result of that. And we are here to speak to you about what this election is all about. Because it is important that you understand that this election here in Nevis is all about Nevis. It is not an election that is about CCM. It is not an election that is about NRP. It is about Nevis getting its fair share of the CBI funding, among other things. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, there is one individual who have decided to treat Nevis unfairly. And even more unfortunately, he has found a partner in some people right here in Nevis. Some people on the other side. Some people who goes by the name of the New Nevis Reformation Party. Now you and I know there is nothing new about them. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. When our checks was bounced in 2013, public servant workers here in Nevis, there were those in St. Kitts who found a partner in the NRP. They found a partner in the NRP when they bounced the check of the public servants here in Nevis. When they try over in St. Kitts to interfere with our electoral system here in Nevis, again, they found a partner in the NRP. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the one individual who are trying desperately not to give Nevis its fair share has also found a partner in the NRP. The point I'm trying to make to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that every time Nevis is being shortchanged, the Nevis Reformation Party is on the other side. Every time that Nevis has been undermined or shortchanged, the Nevis Reformation Party is on the wrong side of the issue. But now more than ever, in this election, where we are fighting the Concerned Citizens Movement Party and its candidates are fighting to ensure that Nevis gets its fair share. Now it's an election when all Nevisians must be singing from the same hymn book. It is important, ladies and gentlemen of Nevis, of Cherry Garden and the surrounding areas, that we speak with one voice in this particular election. One voice. It is very important. This election that we are facing will decide the future of this federation. It will decide where Nevis go from here in terms of the federal situation. Very important election. And that is why it is important for all of us to come under the same umbrella. We must sing with one voice in this election. Because this election is about Nevis. It is plain and simple. It is about Nevis. And for anybody to be on the side, the wrong side of this issue, which is Nevis's fair share, it is important that we all sing with one voice. Ladies and gentlemen, my responsibility this evening is to chair the proceedings. We have a lot of speakers lined up tonight for you. And at this point, I want to call on the first speaker to the platform this evening, the Honorable Troy Utrant Liebert. Our first speaker for this evening, the Honorable Troy Liebert.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Happy to be here with you in Cherry Gardens tonight in the wonderful parish of St. John's, and for the purposes of these federal elections in Nevis 9. And we know that Nevis 9 is CCM country. Pleasant good night to all of you in Cherry Gardens. Pleasant good night to all of you who are at home or wherever you are, following on Von Radio, following us on our CCM website, following us on YouTube or Facebook. We're very happy that you have decided to be a part of the Concerned Citizens Movement meeting. You know, we did not have to be here for this general elections at this time. And as Mr. Scarborough, our chair for this evening, would have said, it is because of some persons who are all about themselves, very selfish. They took the oath of office to serve and to protect the people of the Federation. But when they got there, they only wanted to serve their own interests. So imagine a prime minister who does not want to serve the will of the people, only his own best interests. So in 2015, all of you know what the state of play was before that. Unity got into government. The Concerned Citizens Movement, the PAM, and the PLP. And we thought that that was a good thing for the Federation. Some good things happened. Prior to that, we here in Nevis, we were locked out from the benefits of the CBI. And we've all heard about the enormous amounts of monies that the CBI has been generating. So before 2015, the only thing that we could get was a loan from CBI. Imagine the very airport, Vance Amri International Airport in Nevis, had to be mortgaged to get a loan from the SIDF. I think it was a $4 million loan. Some of the monies came up through the craft house. Imagine that. And some of the monies came up through an entity they call NIPA. Now fast forward to 2020, we came back to you the people and we said, we have done a good job. Give us another opportunity. And you know what? The people of Nevis responded in a good way, and they gave the Concerned Citizens Movement a full mandate from Nevis, 9, 10, and 11, to go over to Bastia to represent for the people of Nevis. And that is what our representatives did. That is what they were doing. But guess what? all along the way, we were hearing, you know, we have to figure out exactly how this CBI goes. We have to look into what the fair share should be. So every time our representatives ask for that fair share for the people of Nevis, you hear, well, we have to do a study. Then we have to put a committee together. Then the last thing we heard, you heard the Honorable Mark Brantley talk about it, that we got to go to the World Bank. So nobody in St. Kitts and Nevis could count. Nobody in St. Kitts and Nevis understand numbers. And it got to the point, you all have to understand, it got to the point where we realized that the Prime Minister was being very disingenuous and he had no intention of giving that fair share. He wanted to feed us in Nevis with what you would call a long spoon. You know? And after we realized that this was the case, our representatives said no. And we also realized at the same time that the Prime Minister didn't understand that this is a democracy. So he wanted to be Prime Minister for life. And so the other members, the other elected members, 6 of them, our 3 representatives from CCM, along with 3 from the PAM, decided to write to our Governor General to say, we no longer support Timothy Harris as Prime Minister. Well, the Governor General said he can't do nothing. So the members decided to put the motion of no confidence. It got to the point where they realized that the Speaker of the House was about to bring the motion of no confidence. So the man who is now parading as Prime Minister decided he's going to fire our elected representatives from the cabinet and he is going to dissolve the parliament. So, basically what Timothy Harris had said is that for the next 3 months, up until August 8th, or whatever the date might be, that he's going to set himself up as dictator-in-chief in a democracy. So imagine that we live in St. Kitts and Nevis and we cherish all of our freedoms. We cherish our democracy, but we have somebody right now parading as a dictator for 3 months. But the time is coming shortly. The bell is going to be rung shortly. And then you know, we here in Nevis, we have to send the message loud and clear that we are not going to support anybody who believe that they could be a dictator. They want to dictate how much money we should get in Nevis, and then they want to be dictator-in-chief. And we have to send that message to them and say, no, this is not what the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is about. And you know, there is only one voice in Nevis who is saying this, because those in opposition, those on the other side, those on the green team, those in the NRP, you know what they're saying? I happened to be listening the other night. Somebody tell me tune in. And I heard the person who has been launched as the candidate in Nevis 9 say, oh, this whole issue about fair share is a red herring. That is what I heard them say, that it is a red herring. So imagine we have somebody putting themselves up, saying that you, me, all of us, we should vote for them to represent us. And the issue that is the burning and central issue in this federal election for us in Nevis, they're saying the issue is a red herring. Imagine that. So you know what they're saying, basically? That we are not entitled to our fair share. And when you listen to these people talk, they say they understand government. They say they're very bright. They understand how government work. I'm not saying they're not bright. Maybe they're bright for real. Maybe they're real bright. But what I will tell you is when it comes to how the federation operates and how government works, they don't have a clue. You understand? They don't have a clue. I heard the person who's saying that she running in Nevis 9 said that, well, we had a fair share arrangement before with the VAT. And so we must not worry about CBI monies and fair share of CBI. We had a fair share arrangement already with the VAT. Well, you know, the reason we came out of that situation where we were sending our money to St. Kitts and then getting back some money from the VAT is because it was not advantageous to us here in Nevis. We weren't seeing the books. All that we were doing, every time the time comes for VAT, we send our monies to St. Kitts and they send back over what they feel like. We have never seen what the full share of the VAT was. We don't have a clue. They never said, well, Nevis, you put in $2 million this month and we collected 20 million overall. So here's your 24%. When we send $2 million, they send back $2 million or they send back 1.8. Never more. Sometimes less, but never more. You know? And you listen to them because they don't understand what's going on in the federation. They don't understand. We have never had full disclosure. And we decide that we want to fight for the cause of the fair share. We decide we want to get our fair share of CBI. Because when you compare what the people in the opposition want to talk about, VAT and all of those type of things, is small compared to the CBI. You see, I'm going to say something that we probably never heard on the platform. Because sometimes people don't want to say these kind of things. But in 2008, before CBI started to become a big thing in the federation, the federal budget, the budget for the federal government was just about $500 million. I want you all to follow me. Write it down. It was about $500 million annually. And the budget here in Nevis was about $160 million annually. Now fast forward to 2019, 2020, 21. You know what the federal budget is at this point in time? It is about $900 million. North of 900 million. You know what that means? That means almost 100% increase. The federal budget has almost doubled from 2008, when there was no CBI or minuscule CBI, before the SIDF started making money, from 500 million up to 900 million. And during the same period of time, the budget for the NIA has moved from about 160 million up to about 190 million. We have grown here in Nevis, but the amount of income has not doubled in the same way that it did in St. Kitts. But guess what? What was the reason for the budget doubling in St. Kitts? It wasn't the VAT. It wasn't taxes. It wasn't anything like that. It was the inflows from the CBI and nothing else. And I challenge anybody to say different. It's the inflows from the CBIs that have been fueling most of the growth that you have been seeing across the waters. But at the same time, we here in Nevis have been asked to stay quiet, hush your mouth, and let us feed you with a long spoon. Well, the Premier keep on saying that if you own a cake, two people own a cake, Tom and Jerry own the cake, Tom have the cake, Tom pulling off a little piece and giving Jerry and say, while Tom have the whole cake over here. Jerry can't see the cake. You understand? So whenever The Prime Minister goes on the mic, you hear him say, oh, we send $400 million over to Nevis. But you never one time hear him say that the Federation has collected $5.3 billion in the same amount of time. $400 million is chump change when you compare it to 5.3 billion. And the man goes on the mic and he says that proudly. And then he says, my father from a cotton ground. Lord have mercy. You know? But we could come back to that. And guess what? The people in Nevis and the NRP, you know, they say that's a good thing. They walk around and they say, well, what you do with the 400 million? You see, the problem with that is that they don't understand finances. They don't understand. The 400 million did not come one time. And guess what? Ain't even 400 million came. We got $321 million. That is what we got at an average of $46 million per year. So to get the 400 million that the Prime Minister keep talking about, he add in STEP, he add in PAP, he said he add in the economic costs that they're paying for students to go off to college. He add in paying the police. He add in all kind of thing. And then he walk around and he say, $400 million. And the people in the NRP say, Ray. You understand? They say, Ray, while we here in Nevis could have had our fair share to do all of the things that we need to do in Nevis, to put our own policies and programs in place. You hear them walk around and they say, oh, we're not going to look for no CBI money. We are going to tap into the blue-green economy. You know? Or you don't even waste all your time to look up this blue-green economy. It's something that people talk about in a book. You understand? But it does not have any real bearing here in the real world where we live. So we should stop here and talk about this blue-green economy. We should also go back to sending our VAT money over to Sinkits. And we shouldn't worry about getting a fair share. That is what the NRP is saying. That is what they're coming to people saying. That is what they're going to walk all around Cherry Garden and tell you. And then they're going to say they care about you and they care about your children. You understand? When NRP was in government in Nevis, they walk around and they said they did this and they said they did that. But what they did not tell people is that they took some extremely large loans and they ran up overdraft to do it. You see, what they want us to do is to go put Nevis in debt for me and you and your children and your grandchildren to pay, while we have citizenship by investment money coming in over in Sinkits. You know, before SIDF started making money, you all remember when the then Prime Minister made proclamations about public debt, because public debt was out of control over in Sinkits. His CBI money was used to bring it under control. So why we can't get some CBI money in Nevis to pay down some of our debt? So it's right for them to get, but it's not right for us to get. And the NRP sit down and the NRP say, Ray, that's okay. You understand? I hear them walking around and they're talking all kind of thing. And up to now, what they're saying don't make no sense. Because all know, you have not heard them say, Timothy Harris, give Nevis a fair share. You haven't heard them condemn anything that has happened. They can't say wrong because we all know who the paymaster is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my quota for tonight. We have a lot of speakers to come. We are going to be coming to you all over Nevis, bringing the message of being Nevision. You know, all of us need to stand up and come together. because this issue is about all of us and not us just for today, you know. It's about us right now. It's about our children, and it's about our grandchildren and those who are not born yet. That's who we are fighting for. That's who we're going to continue to fight for. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They are top 10 more. We voted for CCM again. CCM go keep it up, up, up. Just keep it up, up. Keep it up. CCM keep up the momentum. Keep it up. Just keep it up. Keep it up. Nevis, when you're feeling like you can't go on, hold on. Oh. Remember me and the CCM will keep you strong. Hold on, oh. Other politicians want to tear you down, right down, oh. But you can Eric and the sheriff will slow you down. Hold on. Because there's only one way to be a winner. To break the strike, now we have to vote blue and on election day. How can we do that? We vote in CCM non-stop, cause they come to keep it up, up. Just keep it up. Keep
Thank
it
you
up.
very much.
CCM keep up the momentum, keep it up.
The Honorable Troy Liebert. You know, the Honorable Troy Liebert made a very important point during his presentation when he said that the St. Kitts budget just a few years ago was over $500 million. But with the help of the CBI funds, it has now moved to over 900 million. While the Nevis side of things moved from 160 million to just over 190 million. That, ladies and gentlemen, should tell you of the unfairness that is happening in this federation with the CBI monies. Ladies and gentlemen of Cherry Garden and the surrounding areas, your decision in this upcoming election is very easy. An easy one. You have in the blue corner here in St. John's, Cherry Garden, in particular, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley, who is fighting to ensure that Nevis gets its fair share of the CBI funding and other aspects of the national asset. On the other side, you have somebody who are teaming up with the gentleman who is trying to ensure that Nevis doesn't get its fair share. So your decision is easy. One for Nevis, one against Nevis. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen of Cherry Garden and the surrounding areas. I want now, ladies and gentlemen of Cherry Garden and the surrounding areas, to call on the Honorable Eric Evelyn, our candidate for Constituency 10 in this federal election, to speak to you, to address you. The Honorable Eric Evelyn.
Yeah.
My name is Eric Evelyn, and I am running for the constituency of Nevis 10. And I'm here because I want to be re-elected to continue to serve the people of constituency Nevis 10 and the people of Nevis, and by extension the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I believe that I have what it takes to represent, and to represent well. I believe that representation requires commitment, dedication, passion, and service with compassion. I believe that I bring all of that and more. I believe that I bring the energy that is required to go to Bastille and to represent, and represent well.
and in constituency of Nevis 9. Of course, as you would have heard from Troy, that constituency 9 is definitely CCM country. And we are here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to ensure that Cherry Gardens and the whole of Nevis 9, the whole of St. John's, the whole of St. Paul's, and not only Nevis 9, but the whole of Nevis 10 and Nevis 11 remains blue and bluer than blue. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say good night. I want to greet all of the good folks who are here at the meeting. I want to greet all of the good folks who are listening, because I know that the system is reaching hundreds and thousands of people, not only in Cherry Garden, but in the surrounding areas. And of course, we want to greet all of the good folks who are listening via radio, and all of the great folks who are joining us online, because we know a lot of people, hundreds and thousands of people, follow us online, because guess what? They want to be counted with the party that stands up for Nevis. They want to be counted with the big blue machine, the only party that stands for Nevis, Nevisians, and residents. So ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to be here with you in the sheriff country. And we are here because we are here to support our leader, the Honorable Mark Brantley, who will be coming to you again in Cherry Garden. And of course, we know that over the years, St. John's, Nevis 9, Cherry Garden has been good to CCM. It has been good to our leader, the Honorable Mark Brantley. And we are fully confident that come next election, that Cherry Garden, Nevis 9 will be counted once again with the Honorable Mark Brantley and with the CCM. So, why are we here tonight, ladies and gentlemen? We are here tonight to rally your support. We are here tonight because guess what? A federal election is imminent. Very imminent. We know that by the 8th of August, we will be going to the polls, not only in Nevis, but in St. Kitts as well, to vote in a federal election. We are going to the polls 3 years early. 3 years early. But it doesn't matter whether we go 3 years early, 4 years early, 2 years early, 1 year early, 1 month early. We want you to continue to rally with the CCM. We are going to the polls 3 years early because the island of Nevis once again is being treated unfairly. And we, the 3 candidates of Nevis, we, the 3 representatives of Nevis, we have been in a federal arrangement. We have been in the federal government. And of course, we would have brought stuff to you. But the fact is, we have not brought enough. Why? Because the federal government has not been good to us, has not been fair to us. And we must ensure that we get what Nevis desires. And your 3 representatives, in myself, your leader, the Honorable Mark Brantley, and the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, we will continue to fight for you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are here 3 years early because we haven't been treated fairly. And that is the basic fact. That is one of the major issues in this general election that we are facing very shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not that we are saying that we want to steal anything from the good people of St. Kitts. The good people of St. Kitts are our brothers and sisters. And St. Kitts and Nevis are equal partners in this federal relationship. And because we are equal partners in this federal relationship, that is why we deserve what is rightfully ours. And we will never rest on our laurels until the island of Nevis, until Nevisians, until residents of this beautiful island of Nevis get what we truly deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, your three representatives have gone to St. Kitts. We have been there for the past 2 years. And we have been fighting for the island of Nevis. We have been stellar representatives for the island of Nevis and in the federal government. And we want to ensure that we go back to continue the job that we have started. And so we are here tonight because, as I said, an election is looming, and I'm hoping that it is called very soon. I am hoping that it is called very soon, because your three representatives are ready and rearing to go. And we believe, we are confident that the people of Cherry Garden and the people of Nevis 9 are ready to rally with our leader, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley.
Mark Brantley, Alexis Jeffers, Eric Evelyn.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are here once again to enlist your support for this great party, because you know what? This CCM party, this big blue machine, is the party that has always been very consistent with its message. We don't jump here and hop there and run there and walk there. We have been consistent with our message over the years. For 7 years, the CCM has been in Bastille in a unity administration. And the message has always been clear and consistent. We are not like the other side, who today say one thing, and tomorrow say something else, and next week say something else, and next month say something else, and next year say something else. That is what we have been getting from the opposing party. But no, your party, your CCM party, your big blue machine, your party that has always rallied for the people of Nevis, our message has always been consistent. Nevis first, Nevisians first, residents of Nevis first.
Increase the momentum.
And that is why I love this song, we increasing the momentum, because we have to increase the momentum to go back to Bastille, to continue with that consistent message. We would never depart from our message. You know, ladies and gentlemen, people have been saying, and unfortunately so, and untruthfully so, that your premier, our premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley, has not been asking about the fair share all along. But if we have been following the politics all along, if we have been following the messaging of the Honorable Mark Brantley all along, if we have been following his press conferences all along, we would know that the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley, your representative, the man who you will be voting for again very shortly to send back to Bastille, the message from the Honorable Premier has been consistent, it has been clear, and in his own words, it has been pellucid. For 7 long years, it has been pellucid that we deserve what is rightfully ours. And so, irrespective of the nonsense that you're hearing, that Mark only making noise now about the fair share, all of a sudden, no. The Premier has been harping on this all along for 7 years. And especially since he became the Premier of Nevis. Especially since he became the leader of this great party, this big blue machine. And so, the Premier has kept to his word. Listen, we want our fair share. And you know what? Since myself and Alexis Jeffers joined him in Bastille, we have been rallying with him. And we as well, we are asking for our fair share. And we will not rest. We will not resile. No retreat, no surrender until we get it.
You dirty man.
No retreat, no surrender whatsoever until we get it. And some people keep asking, so what happens if you go to Bastille and you join with Pam and Pam don't give you your fair share? Well, Pam, we love you, but we got news for you. Because if we join with you and we ain't get our fair share, we're going to say bye-bye. Just like we said bye-bye to this unity construct. The real unity is coming. Because I'm confident that the people of St. Kitts will vote overwhelmingly for Pam. And I know for sure that the people of Nevis have always rallied with the CCM.
CCM, Concerned Citizen Movement.
And you will rally with the CCM again. Because this is the only party that puts people first. That is why our mantra is people matter most. And it will always be our mantra. And it is because people matter most. It's because divisions and residents matter most. That is why your party, your representatives will continue to fight for Nevis and fight for its fair share. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's unfortunate and it is sad, very, very sad, that our own people on the island of Nevis, people who born here, people who raised here Nevis, could be turning a blind eye to this issue. Could you imagine that? Our own Nevisians can see the light and are continually asking us, why you do with the $400 million? Well, are people blind? Every forum we go on, we outline our projects. The projects are there to see. We outline them over and over again at our town hall meetings, at our public meetings, and on the mark. And wherever we speak, we outline the projects. The projects are there to see. And if you are not blind, you will see where the $400 million have gone. But you know what? The strangest thing is our own Nevisians, our own people who reside on this 36 square mile island called Nevis, this gem of a paradise called Nevis. Our people keep asking us, where the $400 million gone? But you know what is the strangest thing? They never ask where the $5.3 billion gone. They never ask. And it is time for our Nevisians and residents not to take the crap and the nonsense and the deception that is coming from the other side. It is time that Nevisians and people who reside on this island wake up. We must wake up and smell the coffee. Because why should we be asking where $400 million gone? And why haven't we been asking where $5.3 billion gone? If you're asking us, then you have to ask Bastille as well. Where the money gone? We have to ask the questions, the hard questions over there too. And that is what we in the CCM have been doing. That is what we have been doing on your behalf.
CCM, Concerned Citizen Movement.
And that is why you have to continue to rally with us. Because ladies and gentlemen, the fact is, it is clear as crystal that $400 million is not change. Not change. And it probably even less than not change, because nuts getting expensive now too. So maybe it's less than not change. But it's not change compared to $5.3 billion. Do your maths. I'm not a mathematician. I don't like to do maths. I never liked maths in school. But do the maths. It's simple. Compare 400 million with 5.3 billion. And you will see the massive difference that is. The huge difference that is. And those who are trying to deceive us, those who are trying to lie to us, if they were in a relationship and they were treated unfairly, wouldn't they have stood up? Wouldn't they have spoken out? And it is only fair that we who are representing us in Nevis must speak out. We have been doing that, and that is what exactly we will continue to do. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a representative here in St. John's and St. Paul's in Nevis 9 who has been an excellent, extraordinary, superior representative in Bastille. Ever since he took over foreign affairs, that ministry has never been the same. I know we're going to be coming back to you shortly for local election, but apart from this stellar job that the Premier has been doing in Bastille at the federal level, he has been doing an excellent job at the local level as well. And the people of Cherry Garden can testify to that. You can testify to that.
Mark Brantley, are you any place, you know?
Only recently, the Nevis Island administration would have done some excellent work over here. We saw the suffering of some of the folks here in Cherry Garden. We saw some of the bad work that you had with your houses and your soakaways, and we got it fixed. We got it fixed, ladies and gentlemen. And so the Premier has been a shining light for the good people of St. John's, both at the local and the federal level. And that is why we are here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to support and to endorse the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley as the next representative for Nevis 9 in the federal government. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. The representation that you get in Bastille from the Honorable Mark Brantley is second to none. Second to none. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are a team. Three of us, the three Hebrew boys. That is what we have been calling ourselves ever since we came to you in 2020. And that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. You can't hear anything about us. You can't hear anything about corruption. You can't hear anything about we're not doing our jobs. Because if you go to Bastille, if you go to St. Kitts, and you question the people over there, the people will tell you, those guys, those representatives from Nevis that you all send down here to Bastille, they work, they perform. And because we have performed so well, because we have worked so diligently, because we have worked so hard, because we have been standing up for divisions and Nevis so much, that is why it is imperative that you send us back to Bastille. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, apart from the Premier, you have the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who will be coming back to the people of Nevis 11. And make no bones about that. People up and down saying, oh, Alexis this and Alexis that. Alexis is sound. He's stronger than ever over in 11. And as I said over in Barnes Gut, I have the good feeling this time around
Alexis Jeffers,
that when we leave St. Thomas's, we ain't gonna be trailing this time. We're gonna be leading this time. And don't talk about when you go over to the good parish of St. James. Don't talk about that because you know that is CCM country as well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when we count number 9 in the column of CCM, we know number 11 will also be in the column of CCM. And you know, your humble servant, your humble, dedicated servant of Henley Park, of Hanley's Road, of Gingerland, of Nevis 10, have always stood with the people of Nevis 10, always stood with the people of Gingerland, and the people of Gingerland will continue to stand with me. I am confident of that. And so because you have been standing with us, that is why we, the three Hebrew boys, will continue to rally for you.
You messing them up, Bradley. Alexis Jeffers. Eric Evelyn.
We, the three Hebrew boys, will continue to ensure that when we go back to Bastille, when we go back and form the next federal government with the People's Action Movement, that we will ensure that the cause of Nevis will be first, second, and third.
Increase the momentum.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, you have a choice to make very shortly. Because ever since the House was dissolved, we in the CCM, we in the Big Blue Machine, we have been counting the days. We have been keeping track of the weeks. We have been keeping track of the hours. Because we are anxious. We are anxious. And I know the people of Cherry Garden, and I know the people of Nevis 9 are anxious to go to the polls to vote for the Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. I know the people of Nevis 10 are waiting and willing and able to rally with your humble servant. I know the good people of Nevis 11 over in St. Thomas's and St. James. You are just waiting and raring to go. And ladies and gentlemen, I want tonight to please ask the people of Nevis kindly to vote in this election. Our people of Nevis have always tried to fall in the trap of saying federal elections are not important and they will not vote in federal elections. This one that is coming up, this federal election that will be called shortly, is going to be very crucial for the island of Nevis. Very, very crucial. We have gotten the bad end of the stick for too long, and we can't afford for that to continue. That is why you must rally with us. We have been treated unfairly from Bastille for too long. And we will say enough is enough. We will not stand for it anymore. Your three Hebrew boys will not stand for bad treatment and unfair treatment anymore. We want our fair share. It is part of human nature that humans always require what is rightfully theirs and what is fair for them. And so we are calling on the people of Nevis to rally. Please do not relax. Please do not relax for this federal election. It is important that we not only send our three representatives back to Bastille, but we do so in a resounding manner. We did it in a resounding manner in 2020. But I want to appeal to the good people of Nevis that in 2022, whether it's going to be in June, whether it's going to be in July, whether it's going to be in August, it must come. And when it comes, when the date is called, we want you to get yourselves ready. Start readying yourselves, because this federal election will be one of the most important for the island of Nevis. It's either we get our fair share this time, or I ain't going to say what is the or. But this, I believe, will be our last ditch effort. And I believe this will be the best chance that the island of Nevis will have to ensure that we get what we truthfully deserve, what we truly deserve. And remember Nevisians, remember residents, when we fight for you, when we get what we deserve, when we get Nevis' fair share, all of us who reside on this island will benefit. And that is why it is important that all of you go out and vote. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell your relatives. In 2022, it will be all three for we. All three for we. And ladies and gentlemen, we will assure you that once we get that resounding mandate from you, the people of Nevis, we're going to bring home the cake and we're going to bring home the icing. We're going to bring home the cake and we're going to bring home the icing. We're not taking any nonsense anymore. We're not settling for we're not settling for second best anymore. We're settling for equal and fair share. We want equity and we want what belongs to us. We have a lot of work in Nevis to do with our fair share. And of course, you would have heard at our town hall meeting, you would have heard of some of the things that we outlined that can be done. We have a lot of work to do with the money that they are keeping and stealing from us. Because that is exactly what it is. If we deserve something and we not get it, you're stealing it. So we want to ensure that our monies that are due to us are not stolen and kept from us any longer. Ladies and gentlemen of Nevis, ladies and gentlemen of Cherry Garden, wake up and rally with your CCM. Rally with the Honorable Mark Brantley in Nevis 9. Rally with the Honorable Alexis Jeffers in Nevis 11. And rally with me, who you can trust, who works hard for you in Nevis 10. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the best team that you can send to Bastia. It's the dream team that you will send to Bastia to represent and stand up for you always. And so, it is indeed my pleasure to be here in Cherry Garden to support our leader, to support our premier, and to endorse him highly. Endorse him highly for this area as you go to the polls when the elections are called. And I have a feeling, because somebody in the CCM has already told me that for this election, the sheriff don't win all boxes in St. John's, including Cherry Garden. He will win all the boxes in St. John's, including Cherry Gardens. But ladies and gentlemen, he cannot do it without your support. So once again, I highly endorse our premier, highly endorse Alexis Jeffers. Stick with us. Stick with the three who represent you well. Stick with the three who will stand up for Nevis and Divisions. Stick with the three who will ensure that Nevis get its fair share. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. God bless you. And remember, it's all three for we in 2022. Thank you and God bless you.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. There's a stake in the country,
and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Calling a division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. I hear he teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message from me. CCM is the one we want to represent we. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party to fight for Green City. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party to remove Timothy. To get all we CBI money. We sticking with CCM. We're going to battle with the same tree. We sticking with CCM. Alexis, Civilian and Brantley. We sticking with CCM. There's no other choice that I see. We sticking with CCM. We sticking with CCM. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Remember, the party that has been looking out for the best interests of divisions. CCM party. Making sure we get our full share of the CBI money. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party. The blue machine ready. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party. To bring prosperity. Tell the servant in PLP. We sticking with CCM. We could give an happy the whole treasury. We sticking with CCM. The next prime minister he'll never be. We sticking with CCM. CCM will be celebrating victory. We sticking with CCM. We sticking with CCM. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party. The blue machine ready. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party. The blue machine ready. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum on election day.
Thank you very much, DJ Zimber. I thought it was important for the good people of Cherry Garden to hear the message from the King Bingi, increase the momentum. Because in this election, we as divisions must increase the CCM momentum. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say to you that I too have done a jingle. But we have decided to hold that back because we are just warming up. And you know when the king leg of that jingle, you're going to be trouble in Arima. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker I want to call to the platform is a man who in 2020 did what everybody thought was not possible. And that was to win the St. James, St. Thomas's seat. And for some reason, there are those who think that he is going to let it go easy. There are those who think that he is in trouble. But I am here to say to you tonight that Alexis Jeffers will win St. Thomas's, St. James, even bigger than he did the last time. And the reason I say that to you is not because I know the man is a hard worker. It is not because I know the man is campaigning hard. It is because I know this issue is all about Nevis. It's a Nevis issue. So the entire St. James's constituency and the entire St. Thomas's constituency must come together. Must come together, regardless of what your feelings are. This is not about Alexis. This is not about CCM. It is not about NRP. It's an election about Nevis's fair share, about the treatment in Nevis. It is about an election that will decide whether Nevis go forward in this federal election or we go backward. What you have, ladies and gentlemen, is a gentleman in St. Kitts who have decided to undermine the good people of Nevis. And unfortunately, the representative for St. James of St. Thomas's for the other party has decided to join him to suppress and undermine the people of Nevis. That is how I know that the Honorable Alexis Jeffers and the good people of St. Thomas's and St. James will come together and unite as one people under one umbrella in the best interest of the good people of Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to call to the platform the Honorable, the hard-working Alexis Jeffers, our representative for Constituency St. James and St. Thomas's, Constituency 11. The Honorable Alexis Jeffers.
Life is so good to me. Life is so good to me.
My name is Alexis Jeffers, and I am the proud representative of Nevis 11, which includes St. Thomas and St. James. I have been the representative of this proud constituency since June of 2020. You have said in the past that you needed quality representation. You needed serious representation and dedicated representation, which was lacking for 20 years prior to 2020. So I'm asking the people of St. James and
St. John's, good night, St. Paul's, St. James, St. Thomas's, Gingerland, good night. Cherry Garden is always a good place to come. You know why? Even though you don't have a huge crowd here in front of us, everyone in the house listening, and everybody's hearing the message that we have brought to Cherry Garden tonight. So it's good to be here. And I will say to you that I'm happy to be here to support the representative for this area, for Nevis 9. That is the Honorable Mark Brantley. But I'll speak more about him later. But since I'm here tonight, we're here to talk issues. You've heard from Eric, and you've heard from the other speakers. So I'm here tonight to add to the lineup that is here at Cherry Garden. And King, let me tell you, do not use the word when you come here about any trouble. Nobody in no trouble. In no election nowhere in Nevis. So if you think that somebody's in trouble, it's not Eric, it is not Alexis, and it's not Mark Brantley. So somebody must be in trouble, not us. Because you would have heard that we had an election in 2020. And the people of Nevis voted overwhelmingly because we brought a message of hope, a message of representation, a message that we had the best team to go to Bastia to represent the people of Nevis. Well, the team is still the same. The issues are still the same. We are still willing to go to Bastia and stand up for the people of Nevis. Unlike others who would have gone there and have done little or nothing. But we can look at all that. Because we said to you in 2020 that the CCM party represented what is best for the island of Nevis. And our representative in 9, 10, and 11 was willing to go to Bastia and stand up and bring that message to Bastia that we are all about getting our fair share. So you've heard the conversation tonight about fair share. But we'll get to that. In 2020, though, the people of Nevis said, in Nevis 9, Mark Brantley, you have been our representative since 2007. We have been pleased with your representation, and by all means, go back to Bastia and continue that representation. In 2020, Eric Evelyn would have gone to the people of Gingerland. That is after the late Van Samry would have retired from politics. And they said to Eric, you are just as good, and I know you'll do even better. Go ahead to Bastia and represent the people of Gingerland. So overwhelmingly, they sent Eric to Bastia. The same thing in Nevis 11. You'd have had 20 years prior to the year 2020. Since 2000 up to 2020, there was a representative there. And the people of Nevis 11 said enough was enough then. And enough is still enough with the NRP in Nevis 11. So they would have voted for Alexis Jeffers in 2020. And I went to Bastia and represented. But here's the thing. Some may say we have come 3 years early. Eric would have said that. But the bottom line is, we were operating in a system where we understood that in that partnership, all that we were seeking to do is to ensure that the people of Nevis get what is rightfully theirs. Of course, there have been things we have gotten. You have heard about $400 million. It didn't come one time. You have heard about our people being in embassies all over the world. That is excellent. That is true representation. You have heard about grant funds that have come to Bastia and have made their way to Nevis as well. That is wonderful. That is what we went there for. But the most important thing that we have always championed in Bastia is that, yes, we have gotten some, but we have not gotten our rightful share. And we have said that the monies that have been derived from the sale of our St. Kitts Nevis passport, we must get our rightful share, our fair share, which is 25% of what was received. And I don't think anyone in Nevis should have a problem with the 3 representatives would have gone there and have stood up and said, give us what is rightfully ours. I've also said that any political party in Nevis that continues to campaign up and down Nevis and is not talking about the fair share for Nevis, they are actually campaigning to deny the people of Nevis their fair share. And that is as simple as it gets. We should be speaking in one voice, one accord, speaking as divisions. I've said before, and I continue to say it, and I'll say it again, that when it comes to issues pertaining to Nevis, there's always a political party, a leader in St. Kitts, who is willing to put sound bites out there or join with an opposing team here in Nevis to oppose what the CCM, for example, is putting forward. And what I mean by that, let's look at the examples. We have right now the NRP campaigning up and down Nevis, speaking against fair share. They come up with all kind of issues that are meant to confuse the people of Nevis. They get some sound bites out of St. Kitts. You hear them talk about 400 million. You hear them talk about 21 million. They talk about all kind of things. And the NRP gravitate to that, grab it and run with it as if that is the gospel. But a simple point is this. Once you're in a relationship and there's an understanding, we understand that as a party. The PAM party understand that. The only fraction of the previous government that didn't understand was the PLP and its leadership. And that is where the difficulty lies. We have been preaching, we have been asking, we have been beseeching, we have been writing, we have been meeting, we have been agitating, all of the adjectives you want to come up with. The CCM has tried. The leader of PAM has come out and said, Nevis deserves its fair share as well. But we haven't gotten our fair share. So what must we do? Stay in Bastia, take all the knockout. Stay in Bastia, collect a paycheck, do nothing, say nothing. After 5 years, what do we have to show? Nothing. There would have been nothing to show. But we said, there is a better way. If the leader that is outgoing did not want to give us our fair share, well, let us work with someone else who is willing to. And no one in St. Kitts should be angry with the CCM party. No one in St. Kitts should be angry with the people of Nevis asking for the fair share. As a matter of fact, the whole of St. Kitts should join with the people of Nevis and say that you should get what you rightfully deserve. This is a federation of St. Kitts and Nevis where we should be living in harmony, looking out for each other, being our brother's keeper. When one side is being treated unfairly, the other side should say, Lord of mercy, man, give them what is theirs. So no one in St. Kitts should be angry with anyone in Nevis who stand up and say, give us our fair share. As a matter of fact, I don't want anyone in St. Kitts to listen to our meetings and think that we are coming to St. Kitts to bulldoze or beat anybody anywhere down there. But as Nevisians, proud Nevisians, we are willing to stand up in any forum, in any island, in any area to champion the cause of Nevision. What is so wrong with that? Nothing could be wrong with that. As a matter of fact, let me go further and say if anyone in St. Kitts think that we are against anyone in St. Kitts, that is the farthest thing from the truth. And I will say to you, if you have a problem with us championing the cause of Nevisians, well, I want to say to Nevisians, you have a party in the CCM party that is willing to stand up against all odds, against all who don't see things our way. We are willing to stand up. But you're short like a whatever, but we're short, but we're tall still. We can stand tall in any forum, anywhere. But no one should be angry with us in St. Kitts. The same way there are roads being fixed in St. Kitts. The same way you have expansion to Port Zante, for example. The same way you have all kind of social programs where Kittitians are benefiting from the same CBI money. Well, Nevisians need to benefit too. And that is why when the Premier spoke on the Thursday night, he laid out some of the areas that we'll gladly invest those funds in. But we should be equal partners whereby what is good for Nevis is good for St. Kitts. What is good for St. Kitts is also good for Nevis. And that is why we said roads need fixing in Nevis. CBI money is there. Let us have our share. The hospital need expansion need finishing. Let us get our fair share. The Van Samer International Airport, the deep water here at Long Point, all of these areas and infrastructural development need taken care of. As a matter of fact, we have said to you that those social programs that are ongoing, for example, the STEP program, and also the peace initiative that is currently ongoing, we believe they can be made better. We have ideas. As a matter of fact, when you think about the peace program, when you think about the monies that have been placed in that program, we believe everyone at the program should have had a little business, a little something where they can make a dollar. The more small businesses in the country, the better it is for both St. Kitts and Nevis. When you have small businesses thriving in an island or country, it therefore means the tax base is expanded. People get jobs. Money goes into the treasury. Services are being provided. Money is circulating in our economy. And I do believe the ideas that we have in terms of making sure that we can put a little pool there aside, a little revolving fund, whereby some of the persons on the peace initiative can tap into that, get a little fund out of that, start a business, pay their debt, and then you have that money circulating and revolving so others can benefit. And when I talk about that fund that can be established with those monies, you're talking about loans given at, for example, 1%. 1%, that is a soft loan, because you understand that persons who start a business will need those type of incentives to get started. So young men should not just be getting a paycheck at the end of the week. They should also be providing a paycheck to someone else. That is how you have to think, and that is the kind of thinking you have to inculcate into our young men and young women. They must be able to participate in that regard. We want our money to do that in Nevis, not some handout coming from St. Kitts. That is why we say, give us our fair share. Let us retool these programs. Let us do better here on the island of Nevis. And a better Nevis, of course, is a better St. Kitts ultimately. Handouts is not what we are accustomed to here in Nevis. So you send this little jib, 5.5 per month. In St. Kitts, ask yourself, if we get 5.5, and in 2021, $588 million was collected. Well, divide that by months, and you see what stayed in Basti. As a matter of fact, they send up 45. Let's take that away. So 543 million stayed over there. So you see what was received, you see what was kept, and you know exactly what they would have kept over there on a monthly basis. Divide 543. $543 million by 12 months, and you see what you get. All of you have a calculator. That is what was left in Bastille. And if it is that we are wrong to ask for a fair share, you can't be serious as a Nevision. Every Nevision would tell you, I agree with the CCM. I support the CCM. I'm willing to stand up with the CCM. I'm willing to rally with the CCM to make sure that this disparity is turned around. And you can't knock us for that. So when they come and they campaign on issues that are not germane to the argument, when they come and they say vote for them for whatever reason, I say, tell them, I am interested in getting what is rightfully ours out of Bastille. And the only party on the island of Nevis that is championing that cause is the CCM. So those are who I'm going to be voting for. Speaking of voting, there are some persons who are saying that they don't think they'll be voting for this federal election. And I said to you, those of you who are thinking about not voting, I said to you, you have a few weeks to make up your mind. As a matter of fact, you should be making up your mind tonight to tell yourself you're going to vote. It is that sacred right that you have, that democratic right to go out and vote for whomever you want. Whomever. But tonight I'm telling you that your choice in these elections to come should be your CCM party and would be your CCM party. Because it's the clearest choice. And when I say go out and vote in your numbers. Let your vote be counted. Let your vote be on the side of fair share. Let your vote be one that suggests to all of us that you're willing to stand up with us. So I have no fear that in Nevis 11 people are going to go out and vote in overwhelming numbers. I have no fear that in Nevis 10 persons are going to go out in the overwhelming numbers to vote up in Nevis 10. And the same thing here in Nevis 9. I have no fear that people are going to go out in the overwhelming numbers. But here's what it is. People are not just going to go and vote. We have to continue the work. We have to continue to encourage them to go to vote. Because, of course, in Nevis we have had quite a number of elections. But elections will come and elections will go. But when elections come, do not let it be said after the election, I'm sorry I didn't vote. Never let it be the case. Because when the time comes to vote, you are expected to vote. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something about my leader, the Honorable Mark Brantley. He is the candidate or the representative of this constituency, Nevis 9. He will tell you he started in 2007 and he's still at it and he's still fighting for your cause. Well, I said something at the start of this campaign when we launched. I'm not going to say it again tonight. All I'm going to tell you, I mean every word of it. But if you didn't hear it, you're not going to hear it again. But who heard it, let me say, I mean every word of it. And you know why I mean every word of it? It takes someone who believes in his leader, who will follow his leader, who will champion the cause with that leader, to say publicly that he's willing to follow his leader anywhere he goes. Not too many persons are willing to say that and do that. But the reason why I can say that is that Mark Brantley, when he became the leader of this great party, I said that Mark Brantley is like no other. He's like no other. You can't compare him to anyone before. Mark Brantley is a man of his own. And he has shown us, since he has been the leader of this great party, that he's willing. He's willing and able to stand up anywhere to represent this great party on the island of Nevis. As a matter of fact, I'll say this to you. Mark Brantley would have defined himself as a great leader back in 2011. You remember that fiasco we had with the voting back in 2011? When we had that election that was stolen. Anyone else could have sat aside and said, let's wait until the next time around. Mark Brantley said, no, wrong was done to the voters in Nevis 9, or at that time it was Nevis 2, St. John's. Wrong was done to voters in Nevis 2. And he said that I will go out there and champion the cause for those voters. I would go there and make sure that they are represented in the courts so that they can be reinstated to vote. So he took the matter to court. The rest is history. We had a new election, and Mark Brantley would have won that election. So I would say, cheers to Mark Brantley for standing up for the voters of St. John. And you know, when that was over and done, you saw what the man was about. Mark Brantley has shown that he's willing to champion the cause of Nevisians. Every single one of us. I know when he goes to bed at nights, Nevis is on his mind. When he goes to bed at nights, the people of Nevis are on his mind. And I will say to you that even during the difficult days of COVID-19, Mark Brantley's voice was that calming voice you would have heard. That calming voice to say, well, he is doing what is necessary to protect his people. We had our own task force here in Nevis. There was one that was set up federally. But Mark Brantley said we need our own task force because who knows divisions more than Nevisians? Who knows the needs of Nevisians more than a Nevis man? So we said he would have set up the task force here in Nevis. And that task force did a remarkable job to ensure that the protocols were enforced, to ensure that the people of Nevis were protected. And for that, you have to give Mark Brantley, as the leader of Nevis, commendation. We went all the way to England. You remember the Windrush? That Windrush issue where a person would have gone to England back in the 40s or 30s and were being threatened to be thrown out of England. He went there and represented on the international stage. So he's not only a local man, he's not only a regional man, but he's also an international figure. And that is why I said what I said down there at the Cove, that I'm willing to follow him anywhere he goes. Because when you're following a great leader, then you have no fear. And that is why I am saying to the people of Nevis 9, you have done a remarkable job here in Nevis 9 to throw your support behind the Honorable Mark Brantley. And he's asking you again to do so. And I don't want to beg, but I'm just asking you to do so. There's no need to beg. You can beg, yes, but there's no need to beg. But I'm beseeching you to go on out and vote for Mark Brantley because I believe his resume speaks for itself. When he told you that he's not going to take a local salary that will stay in the treasury, that can be used to assist vulnerable persons out there, that is a true champion. That is a man who believes in taking care of his people. And so some may come and say that they're not interested in working in Boston. They're going down there and they're not going to take a ministry. They say they don't want a portfolio. They're going to be a minister without portfolio. So they're going, well, not going, if by some stretch of the imagination, they want to get to Boston. They say they're going down there not to work, but to collect a paycheck. To collect a paycheck. So they tell you from day one, they're not willing to work. They tell you from day one, they're not willing to represent. And they tell you from day one, don't vote for me then. That's what they're telling you. Don't vote for them because they say they're going down to do nothing. We are saying Mark Brantley is coming back to you to tell you, vote for him to go back and finish the job that he started.
Mark Brantley, a year in the place, you know.
And so I can speak all night about the Honorable Mark Brantley because I am proud of his leadership. When we were in Bastille, I told the Honorable Mark Brantley in a conversation, Mr. Brantley, you're my leader. Whatever you say, I'm with you. I'm rallying with you because you have the support of myself. And by extension, I know for a fact you have the support of Eric Evelyn. And you know why I can speak so proudly? It's because when we came to the people of Nevis, we said vote for three of us, all three. Because we are done with the divided voices. We are done with the dissenting voices in Bastille. Nevis was looking like a disorganized island when you have a CCM fraction down there and an NRP fraction. NRP fraction is saying Nevis no want nothing. CCM is fighting for Nevis. So you have these dissenting voices. So we said in 2020, let us done with that. Let us give Mark Brantley, strengthen his hand and give him the support that is needed over there. And with that support, you see what has happened. With the support, you see what would have happened. We have gone down and we said, if, for example, we are not getting our fair share, if the outgoing Prime Minister was not willing to give the people of Nevis what is rightfully theirs, then we just have to do what is obvious. We don't want to do this. We didn't want to do it. And we don't want to do it again either. And that is why we feel in the real unity that we are going to be involving in Bastia. That real unity with the People's Action Movement and the Concerned Citizens Movement will deliver the goods for this federation.
CCM party.
Serious leadership all around. And irrespective of what might be said, I believe in the CCM and People's Action Movement. Two movements, eh? It's no Labour Party and no party story. These are two movements that have always put people first. Some may say they put people first, but that is just a talk. Examine us as parties or as political organization. Examine the CCM and you'll see where we've always made people front center in all that we have done. That's why we say people matter most. We used to say people matter more, but then we realized that we have garnered the support of all of the people in Nevis, or the majority of people in Nevis. Then we say people matter most. And no matter whether you support this party or not, you're all under that same umbrella, that people matter most. Ladies and gentlemen, let's examine. Let's examine the candidates quickly. In Nevis 9, you have the Honorable Mark Brantley and the candidate. Well, he called the candidate his cousin. So Mark running against his cousin. And I tell you, he's a cousin that is as blue as the sky, as blue as the shirt that I'm wearing. I don't know if she can't get over in an NRP. But whatever the reason is, or the reason was that caused her to make up her mind to run on an NRP ticket, you could hear she talking over the supported CCM, you know. She over there, everything he say is to support the CCM. So we can safely say that the Honorable Mark Brantley is safe here in St. John's. Because I said before, she already said she's not going to go to Bastia to walk. She's going to sit down. So if you're going down to sit down, let's just sit down in Brownhill. I want to say in Nevis 10, you have Eric Evelyn. Compare him to the gentleman up there. Somebody who can't cat from all over Barnes got end up in Gingerland. Can't even vote for himself. Imagine he can't vote for himself. Can he get up in thing? So I tell you, I said it before, when you take up the ballot, you just get Eric the X. And then when you see the other person, you tell them, take up a lazy whatever and go away, guy. I don't want to say it here on the platform because they'll record that. But over in Nevis 11, let me say this. There's a lady running over there. She is the one who said she has been living over there for 20 years. So for 20 years, you never see her. For 20 years, you never heard anything from her. For 20 years, he was never involved in any community activity. For 20 years, he never said good morning. For 20 years, he never picked up anybody. But all of a sudden, I love you, I love you, I love you. Let me tell you, when people come saying they love you, yeah? Because when they come saying they love you, examine them. Because there are a couple of loves, you know. You have puppy love. You have instant coffee love. But me don't know what kind of love that be. I don't know what kind of love, but be wary of people who come and tell you they love you 100 times in one speech. And you know they don't mean a word of it. So since you never been see her, since you don't know nothing about her, since you don't care about you, well, you know where your ex is going to go. The people of St. Thomas's have the same choice. Because I listened to her the other night and she said, oh, I don't think you all down in Jessup know me, but you all know my father. Well, she father upon a ballot, no? She father on a ballot. That's why he said down in Jessup, he said, I know you all don't know me, but you all know my father. Well, when you look at the ballot, you don't see the father name, God bless his soul. I'm not going there. But that tells you that somebody would have encouraged this lady to jump into politics. And I asked her already, who sent you? And why they send you? Who sent you and why they send you? I don't want to spend the time on her. Because when it's all said and done, Nevis 11 will do the right thing. They will do the right thing because no matter what is said about Alexis Jeffers, my record in this country, on this island to start with, is one which is impeccable. I have worked on behalf of every single person here on the island of Nevis, whether in housing, agriculture, whether it's in fisheries, whether it's in cooperatives, whether it's in natural resources, whatever the case. I have gotten up every morning, roll up my sleeve, and I go to work, and I work diligently on behalf of the people of Nevis.
Alexis Jeffers.
So my record is clear. I went to Bastille at the federal level, and my record there is impeccable as well. Albeit it was only for 2 years. But if I was able to perform in 2 years there and make sure the people of Nevis was properly represented and rightfully represented, then I am absolutely certain that the people of Nevis 11 will send me back to Bastille to continue the journey. So Nevis 11, St. James and St. Thomas's, you have your representative that is already signed, sealed, and delivered, irrespective of what. But I'm going to come and do the work. The work has to be done. Since I'm here in Cherry Garden, listen, I would want to say to you that housing has been a major plank of our administration. And we have continued doing some housing here. I'm telling you, once we get those funds from Bastille, housing will also be a major area of investment for us. I know in 2016 we would have gotten $25 million from the Social Security Board. We invested that in houses right here in Cherry Garden, at the lower end of Cherry Garden, that is, in phase 2. All up and down Nevis would have done housing. In St. Thomas's we did housing. In St. James. We did in St. George's as well, Eric, that is down at Zion. So once the time comes again and those funds are available, we'll make those processes available to the people of Nevis. And what I mean by that, we would have set the standard at that point in time whereby persons could have made a deposit and then we had some loans that did not exceed $1,200. I hear other countries talking about housing and none of them can talk about what we did in terms of making sure that those mortgages are $1,200 and less. Those are the type of numbers that we want to maintain. And once we get additional funds, we'll make those funds available for housing and other areas. But I mentioned housing tonight because that is an area that falls under my responsibility, locally. And I want to say to you that I will champion the cause of every young man and a young woman in this island who are interested in owning a home. There are some of you who definitely cannot meet the requirements of some of these banks. But in the process, I also want to thank all the banks who would have made loans available to all of our young men and young women. But we in the CCM will continue to fight for your cause. We'll continue to ensure that we get our rightful share to invest in housing here on the island of Nevis.
CCM, Concerned Citizen Movement.
I just look at my blue watch, I find it tonight, so I say, well, I put it on my blue watch. So I could keep track of the time. It's blue time. I remember last year when I started wearing it, no, 2020, sorry, I said it's a smart watch. When I turn it on, the watch said to me, Patrice, your time is up. I remember that good. So I put it on tonight. But I ain't hear it said not yet, but maybe by the next time you tell me what to tell the lady over in St. James. Probably will tell me. But ladies and gentlemen, listen. We have a lot of campaigning to do until the bell is rung. And many of you here are probably wishing that the bell could ring tomorrow. You know, I hear one ringing over there. But that's not the real bell. That's not the real bell. I think the young man, they want the bell to be rung fast too and soon. I want it wrong soon too. It should be wrong anytime now. But once the outgoing Prime Minister find the strength to ring it, I want us all to be ready. Ready to vote for the CCM party. That blue machine that you have always been accustomed to. That blue machine that you have always put your confidence and trust in. So let's go through it as I wrap up. In Nevis 11, you have an excellent choice there. And your choice will be the incumbent representative, your representative that you would have put your confidence in 2020. I want you to repose that confidence once again in Alexis Jeffers in Nevis 11. I want to continue that journey to fight for on behalf of the people of Nevis 11 and by extension the people of Nevis and for the country or the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The fight is in me. You see what's going on here on the stage? I'm ready to go again. And then you go up to Gingerland, Nevis 10. You have given Eric that chance. And with that chance, Eric has shown you that he's ready for the big stage. He's ready for prime time. He has gone to Bastia and represented Nevis 10. And by extension, the island of Nevis. And he wants to continue to represent the Federation. So give Eric your vote up in Nevis 10.
Eric Evelyn.
Come full circle. Right where we are tonight in Nevis 9. The Honorable Mark Brantley, without saying all that I've said, I can say even more. Because I've said a lot tonight about Mark Brantley. But I want to say to you tonight that Mark Brantley has shown that he is a leader par excellence.
Mark Brantley.
He is a leader that has demonstrated that no task is too big for him. He has demonstrated that he has a love for all of his constituents in Nevis, 9 being in St. Paul's and St. John's. He has clearly demonstrated that once the issues are hot button issues, he's willing to tackle them head on. And so your choice here in Nevis 9 is very simple, very easy. Because as far as I'm concerned, the cousin have already conceded and said that she don't want no work. Brantley is saying, send him back to work for you. And with that, I want you to give him your support. Mark Brantley cannot go there without Eric Evelyn. Eric Evelyn and Mark Brantley cannot go there without Alexis Jeffers. We need the 3 representatives of the CCM party voted back into government in Bastia so we can continue the journey. 9, 10, and 11. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your dream team. That is your strongest team that you can send to Bastia. No other team can match the CCM team. And so I say to you, we're going to talk long and hard because we have to do it. So tonight, I'm leaving the podium feeling confident that the people of St. John's will do what they have to do on St. Paul's, Nevis 9. Thank you very much in advance. And I want to thank you for listening. You have the leader. You have your representative to come. So ladies and gentlemen, it has been a wonderful time here tonight.
Mark Brantley, Alexis Jeffers, Eric
I always love coming to a CCM platform because, listen, are the best party in the world. The best party in the world.
CCM,
and you have to run it with the best party, the blue party, the party that means well for the island of Nevis. And have demonstrated that we are willing to put people first. Not only that, we have always put people first. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. That has been my quota for tonight. Thank you very much and have a good night.
CCM, none of them can run the place like you. Nah, nah, nah. CCM, no, we are doing our own thing. We not follow no party. Mark Bradley have him own style, yes. Him don't follow nobody. We style them greater and greater. We don't follow nobody. The price of CCM, you must be mad somebody. You dirty man. You dirty man. Leave CCM business alone. You dirty man. You not understand. So leave CCM business alone. You're a disgrace. nobody can stop him. Your time done and people can't left you. So why you there still at time? CCM left you all alone. Mark Bradley upon out every dirty man. You dirty man. Leave CC movements alone. You dirty man. Run out that song. Leave Eric Evelyn alone.
Thank you very much, Honorable Alexis Sheffers. Ladies and gentlemen of Cherry Garden, and of course those of you who are listening to us via the various media houses this evening, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, CCM website, I want to say to you this evening that there are those who are going around and asking the question, what have you done with the $400 million? Now I hear that from Timothy Harris, but I don't study him. But I have a problem when those on the other side who live here in Nevis is asking the same question. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the Mundu track, one of only two in the Caribbean, 9-lane track here in Nevis, they see it. You mean they don't see it? And they go through it. The road from the Mundu track going into Brown Hill all the way up. They say it, they see it, they're driving it. The Brown Hill roads, which has been in a dilapidated state for over 40 years, is now a highway. Beautiful roads in Brown Hill. You don't see that? The hospital, bigger than what we have had before. The diagnostic wing, it is actually bigger than Alexandra Hospital. You don't see that? Uwali Pier, which is doing remarkably well. You mean they don't see that? They take the boats. Hanley's Road, which has been turned into another highway. Beautiful roads. You mean they don't see that? So I don't mind what Timothy Harris say about the 400 million. But I have a serious problem with what those on the other side are saying. Because they live here. They see. They would have seen the police station in Newcastle. They would have seen all the housing development taking place here in Nevis. I have a serious problem with these people who are selling out the country, the island of Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen of Cherry Garden, you know what I am speaking about. You know what has been done over the past 4 or 5 years here in this country. So when they come and ask you, come and say to you, where the 400 million gone? It's ignorance. And you must shun it. You must shun it. This election, ladies and gentlemen of Cherry Garden, and the surrounding areas, and all of you in Nevis, is about Nevis's fair share. And it is also about leadership. And we are fortunate here in Nevis, fortunate here on the CCM side, to have a leader who is not only able, but capable. A leader who we have been asking for years to go to St. Kitts and stand up and represent the people of Nevis. We have a leader who would have sacrificed for the good people of Nevis, along with his colleagues, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. They have made the ultimate sacrifice for the people of Nevis, and they are fighting for the good people of Nevis. On the other side, ladies and gentlemen, you have a set of people who are fighting against. I never thought I would have seen the day when persons would be fighting against the interests of the good people of Nevis, whether it's Cherry Garden, or Hanley's Road, or Cox, or Brick Lane, or Cotton Ground. This election, ladies and gentlemen, is not only important, but this election is all about Nevis and the good people of Nevis. Is our last chance, as the Honorable Eric Evelyn have said. Our last chance, our last hope, and we must all rally with the concerned citizens movement. I am so happy at this point to hear the three representatives of the concerned citizens movement speaking so strongly, fighting so hard for the good people of Nevis. And it is important for you, the good people of Cherry Garden and the surrounding areas and the whole of Nevis, to understand the importance of rallying with the Concerned Citizens Movement Party, rallying with Nevis, because this election is about the island of Nevis and the people of Nevis. We are fortunate to have a good leader, a strong leader in the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the podium our leader, a strong leader, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley.
My name is Mark Brantley, and I'm the proud leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement and the exceedingly proud representative of the people of District 9, comprising the parishes of St. John's and St. Paul's. Since 2007, the people of Number 9 have voted for me consistently and have sent me to Bastille. Election after election, they have reposed their trust and confidence in me. Some say, why should we send you to Bastille? I think the answer is simple, that in me you have someone who is committed, someone who's dedicated, and someone who's strong. Someone who will stand up in Bastille for what is best for my constituents and best for the island of Nevis.
To fight for Green City, we sticking with CCM Party, CCM Party, to remove Timothy, to get all we CBI money, we sticking with CCM. We're going to battle with the century, we sticking with CCM. Alexis Evelyn and Brantley, we sticking with CCM. There's no other choice that I see, we sticking with CCM, we sticking with CCM. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum, increase the momentum, increase the momentum. Remember, the party that has been looking out for this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the good people of Cherry Gardens, the good people of St. John's. Good evening to the people of Nevis. We are very happy to be here in Cherry Gardens. You know, CCM cannot have any election without coming to the people of Cherry Gardens. And I'm here to say tonight that whilst we have started with a public rally, we expect to be here house to house, knocking on your doors and hearing what your concerns are. I'm very happy tonight to spend some time here in Cherry Gardens because you have always been good to me. I am reminded that my very first federal election was in 2007. I'm reminded that that election became necessary because of the passing of the late, great Malcolm Gishard. I'm reminded that today marks the 15th anniversary of the passing of Malcolm. And so
In a very real way, we are here in the heart of St. John's, having a conversation this evening on the anniversary of the passing of our hero, Malcolm Gishard. And I'm happy that the people have embraced me in a significant way and have said to me that they want me to be the person to carry on the legacy of Malcolm Gishard. And so, the first election that I ran in 2007, you remember what our theme was? Our theme of that election was run, Mark, run, do this one for Malcolm. And we're back so many years later, 15 years later, and I'm still here, I'm still standing. My hair used to be black, now it's gray. But I'm here, I hope the gray means wisdom, because I'm still young enough to do. And that is why we're here in Cherry Gardens, once again asking for the support of the people of St. John's and St. Paul's here in number 9. But I'm not only asking for the support for myself, I'm also asking for you to go out and support the Honorable Eric Evelyn in Gingerland, the great parish of St. George, and the Honorable Alexis Jeffers in number 11, the great parishes of St. Thomas's and St. James. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot to talk about. But I start by apologizing to the people of Cherry Gardens and the people of number 9 and the people of Nevis. You may well ask, why am I apologizing? I'm apologizing because when you voted for us in 2020, you sent us to Bastia for 5 years. And we have only done less than 2 years at this point. And you may well ask, well, why are you back here? Why are you having meetings again? And the simple reason is that we, the people of Nevis, and you, your representatives in Bastia, felt that having tried valiantly to get what belongs to the people of Nevis, that there was no appetite, no intention, no commitment in Church Street to give to the people of Nevis what belongs to them. Now, I heard my colleagues speak. And when my colleagues spoke, they talked about the fact that we have tried and tried in Bastia to get things done. They reminded our brothers and sisters in St. Kitts that this is not an anti-St. Kitts campaign. To the contrary, we are saying that the people of St. Kitts deserve their fair share. But so do the people of Nevis. And if we are truly brothers and sisters, and we are truly one in this federation, then nobody should begrudge anybody else getting their fair share of the nation's resources. All of us in Nevis are equal citizens. And therefore, we are entitled to the full fruits of our citizenship. And I want to take a moment to address this. You know why? I made a comment, and I said that the people of Nevis demand their fair share of the nation's resources. A well-known person from St. Kitts responded to me and said I was being divisive. He said, I'm trying to divide the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I said, well, how it is that by asking for what belongs to us, we are dividing the people? How it is that by asking for fairness, we are dividing the people? How come when St. Kitts takes 93% of the citizenship by investment money and Nevis gets 7%, that is not divisive? But when we say we want our equitable share, note I say equitable, not equal, because St. Kitts is bigger than we are. But the arrangement and the agreement that we came to was that the people of Nevis would get their 25%, representing the fact that we have 25% of the population. So if you're getting 75 and we are supposed to get 25, it means that 75 is your fair share and 25 is Nevis' fair share. What could be wrong with that? What is divisive about that? It seems to me that in some quarters, people are of a view that Nevis must take what they get and hush them out. Take what you get, because the minute you start to say that this is not what was agreed, they call you ungrateful.
They say you're greedy, that you're divisive. And I'm saying, how could that be divisive? If you're in a situation which is manifestly unfair to you, and you speak up about it, you're not being divisive. You're merely demanding that people do what they committed to. And if you're holding people to their bargain, you're insisting that our people are treated fairly and equitably, that all the people in the country are treated alike. What is wrong with that? What is divisive about that? The person went on to say, since he talked about fair share, he should go for secession. You see, a lot of them like to tell you that you must take what you get. And if you are to speak up about unfairness, they get upset with you. Well, I am here to tell all who are listening. Those of you who are here, those who are listening in Cherry Gardens, those who are listening throughout the world, on radio, on the various outlets, I am here to tell you that so long as I have breath, and so long as these men with me, Eric and Alexis, have breath, and so long as the Concerned Citizens Movement, this big blue machine exists, no shoe gonna squeeze our foot and win a ball out. I am not going to support any party or any government that is not going to stand and do right by the people of Nevis. Somebody asked me, if you put together the government of real unity with PAM, and PAM does not honor its obligations, its commitment, if the government in Church Street that will be formed after this campaign does not honor its obligations, what happens then? And my answer was simple. My answer was simple. I said, Sean Richards knows me well. And Sean knows that whoever is in Church Street, CCM have one song. One song. Fair share for the people of Nevis. So he understands it. And everybody in St. Kitts understands it. And I believe everybody in Nevis understands it, except NRP. So we are going to stay on course and on track. A young man told me recently, he said, this election only has one issue, you know. I said, what is the one issue? He said, standing up for the people of Nevis, sending the great team, the strongest team to Nevis, to St. Kitts, ensuring that in Bastille, the people of Nevis have a strong voice that is respected. And I believe that when you look at what is on offer, there is only one party that has consistently shown that it is committed to the people of Nevis. One party that has consistently shown that it stands full square, shoulder to shoulder with the people of Nevis. One party that has never forgotten why it was elected, and that party is the Concerned Citizens Movement. Now I heard Alexis say he likes to be on a CCM platform. I like it too. Because when I stand on a CCM platform, I know I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. Gish, Vance of blessed memory, Nurse Jean, all the others who have contributed so significantly to what it is we enjoy today. We can't forget the foundation that they laid for us. But this is now our time. This is our opportunity to lead Nevis in such a way to ensure that we progress, that we develop. I hear all this tra-la-la-la-la about $400 million. And I heard that Eric tonight dealt with it at length. And I am saying that even Stevie Wonder could see what $400 million has done in Nevis. Even Stevie can see. And if Stevie were to land here tomorrow, he will do what he normally does. And he will say, oh my God, this looks like $2 billion. Because we have developed Nevis. People look around us, see all the projects, but not just the projects. Look at all that we've been able to do. You know, I heard the leader of the NRP who doesn't appear to really live here. I don't know if it is that she has just landed from Mars. She has been here for a long time. Nobody knows anything about her because she don't mix and mingle. People don't know her. That is why now they look so uncomfortable when they come around. I'm over Jessup's the other day at this conch festival. And I'm sitting there playing some dominoes. I must tell you, I got beaten pretty badly, but that's a different story. But I'm there playing some dominoes. And I see the leader of NRP walking. What they call him? Them wet down Shenshefol. Look out of place. I said, but you're here in Jessup's and you're not comfortable. Tell me where Nevis, Mark Brantley, could be uncomfortable. Nowhere. Wherever I go, is Nevis a Nevis man, maybe. They're not comfortable because they're not accustomed to being around people. And it shows because I see something come to my phone the other morning. They said, big announcement. Big announcement from the leader of NRP. When we get into office, we will put in place an emergency medical fund to assist persons who need medical care and can't afford it. I say, what is this? I read it again. I turned the phone the other way because I said, maybe I'm not reading it right, so I turned it upside down. And I said to myself, well, how could this woman not know that what she's promising the people of Nevis, CCM been doing that for years now? You know, between 2015 and 2022 thus far is over $3.5 million that the cabinet has approved to assist people with medical situations. So when they come and they tell you that they're bringing this for you like it's a big idea, it got to be out of a book to read it. They're not among the people, because if you're among the people will tell you, boy, this government has a great program to assist people. We have implemented that program years ago, where people can access up to 10,000 US dollars once they satisfy the criteria. So when you come now and say this is your big plan, well, what kind of plan is that? You're planning to do what people don't do? And that is what I'm saying. They're out of touch. They have no sense of what is happening on the island. And they have a difficulty. The reason why they have not been able to stand up and champion the cause of Nevis. You see Eric when he comes up here. Alexis when he comes up here. When I come up here, I could stand and I could speak on behalf of the people of Nevis. And you know why? Because nobody owns us. Nobody owns us. We cannot and will never be bought. They, on the other hand, have a paymaster in St. Kitts. They have a paymaster in Tabernacle. And when he tell them jump, they say, how high? When he said do this, they say, yes, sir. He said don't do that, they say, no, sir. He said what you have, they say, 3 bags full, sir. The reality is that the NRP has been purchased lock, stock, and barrel. And they cannot now stand up for Nevis. That is why you hear one of them song, Momo. I talk about don't say what happened. I'm not interested in what the billions of dollars in St. Kitts was used for. I only want to hear about Nevis. It tells you they don't understand what is going on. They don't understand. No, I will remind the people of Cherry Gardens and the people of Nevis. There was a time when the NRP was in government in Bastia. They were in government back in the day of Simmons. I am not going to deal with them. I'm going to fast forward to the time when Patrice Nisbet joined with Denzel Douglas and the Labour Party. There was a Labour NRP government. What did Nevis get? What did Nevis get? Imagine from our own SIDF money, NRP borrowed $4 million and mortgage the Vance Amory Airport so that at any point in time, people in St. Kitts could have come over and taken away our airport. That is what they brought. Debt, loans, while we in the CCM have said that we will never pay back a red cent, because how am I going to pay back money that belongs to me? They went over to St. Kitts. And while Van Samuel of blessed memory, Alexis, myself, Troy, Hazel, while we were in the cabinet room, up at the Bath Hotel, phones start to go off. Civil servants checks bounce. And I believe that the people of Nevis should never, ever forget or forgive those injustices done to us. Checks bounce. And they're acting up here like it was a Christmas day. Happy that the people of Nevis are taking and getting abused from Bastille. We said we would put an end to that. And the CCM, and I make this point over and over, we have stood up when we were in opposition. And when we went down and sat in government, and many thought, well, okay, they're in cabinet now, so they can't say anything. We said no. Whether in government or in opposition, whether on land or in the air or on the sea, the Concerned Citizens Movement will always stand up for the people of Nevis. That is our simple mandate and message. We will always stand up for the people of Nevis, and the people of Nevis know that. And that is why they have consistently voted for the Concerned Citizens Movement.
CCM, Concerned Citizen Movement.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, since that election in 2007, my first, when I like to say I won by the massive margin of 30 votes, I have since then in every election increased my lead. You know why? Because the people of Cherry Gardens, the people of St. John's, the people of number 9 see value in me. They understand that I represent them, not myself. You know, this NRP was so forward. They started this narrative about 2 salary. They say we're going sinkings to look pay. That's what we want. Well, let me ask you, if pay is what we wanted, why did Eric, Alexis, and I tell Timo, take your pay? We prefer to come back to Nevis and be with our people than to accept your pay when you are ill-treating the people of Nevis. It cannot happen. And we will not sit idly by and allow it to happen. Now, if you wanted pay, the easiest pay to get is hush your mouth. Take what bad treatment you get and take your salary every month. I don't even know if Eric and Zoo get salary since we get. I don't even know because I'm not even checking. I'm not concerned about that. My concern is representing the people of Nevis. That is my concern. And that is why the people have been consistently with us, because they recognize in us there are people who are willing to do what is necessary to represent them. Thank you. I want you to vote for me again and the whole family with you. Because that is our reality. We must stand up for Nevis. If we don't stand for Nevis, well, who going to stand for Nevis? A young lady,
CCM, Concerned Citizen Movement.
a young lady said to me the other day, said, I am not a supporter of the CCM party. But I will tell you, it is the first time that I have seen people stand up like this for Nevis. And I said to the young lady, you must come over and vote for the Concerned Citizens Movement. She said she will think about it. But she tell me it is the first time that she has seen people stand up for Nevis. And nobody in Sinkers should be upset that we are standing up for Nevis, because it's Nevis sent us. When you looked at Eric, I saw Eric Evelyn on the main stage at COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland. And I said, well, look at this boy I used to see here walk barefoot down a Henley Path. On a big stage in Glasgow, representing us, speaking to the environment, speaking to climate change and the big issues. On the same stage, like presidents and prime ministers from around the region. Same stage with Biden, he said, and he talked better than Biden. When he was done, so good was he that they took him and invited him to come to Monaco. And he went there too and stood on the stage and spoke for us. Representation. A man who could walk in Henley Park, walk in Raleigh, walk in Zion, walk in New River, walk wherever, and still walk on the world stage and represent us. That is what we are about. I look at the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. In 2 short years down in St. Kitts, he has taken the same energy that he has brought to agriculture in Nevis and taken it down there. They had the Bayfords farm down there, and Alexis brought it back to life. Alexis was able to get access for our farmers in Nevis to fertilizer, access to shade houses, access to more technology. And for the first time, the resources of the federal government were flowing to the entire country. There used to be a minister of agriculture before him, but they say he fell asleep. So Alexis had to go and show how it is done. And you heard the farmers down there talking. They were down there talking and they were saying that for the first time they have a man who they can depend on to bring change, to put energy into this agricultural sector. That is what Alexis brought.
Alexis Jeffers.
You have to remember, that all that we are talking about was happening during COVID, 2020 was the election in June. And we never started to ease up after COVID until late 2021. So the reality is that all that you have seen and observed, you have to judge that in the context of a global pandemic. And we performed. We performed. Alexis spoke about some of the things I was able to do. Just yesterday, even though I am no longer at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in St. Kitts, and I tell people I'm on a short vacation, I'll be back soon. But even though I'm no longer there, the ministry is still continuing with the plans and the programs that I left. And so yesterday, in a further demonstration of how St. Kitts and Nevis is moving closer and getting better connections with Mother Africa, we signed a full visa waiver with a country called Benin in Africa. And why for me that is important? It's important because it is yet another country that our people can now travel to visa-free. And every single country that is added to the list of visa-free countries means that the St. Kitts Nevis passport becomes more powerful, more desirable. It becomes more of a commodity that people want. And we all know that citizenship by investment is the biggest thing happening now. It accounts regularly for over 50% of national revenue. And so if the federal government can collect over 50% from the negotiation of the St. Kitts Nevis passport, and I and my efforts in foreign affairs have made that passport the most powerful in the entire Caribbean region, well, why should the people of Nevis not get their fair share? Why? So you mean we must work, but we mustn't eat? Why must we not get our fair share? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a fundamental question. Alexis puts it best. He said that if anybody's talking to you and they're not talking about fair share for Nevis, it means that they are satisfied with Nevis not getting what belongs to it. And I am saying from this rostrum that I am not begging a soul. I'm not going down to St. Kitts like some mendicant, cap in hand on bended knee to anybody. I am going as a proud Nevision, standing strong and saying, we want our money. Simple as that. And who vex about that, that is their business. We want what belongs to us so that we can develop Nevis. That the people of Cherry Gardens can be assured that their youngsters have good schools to go to. That we have the best healthcare system that we can generate. That we have proper infrastructure, proper roads, proper water, proper electricity. The people of Nevis demand development, and to develop we need money.
So when we are standing up, we're not being greedy. We're not being divisive. We're saying we demand fairness. You know, there was a time in America when black people had to go to certain schools. The inferior schools, the schools that didn't have proper resources, that's where black people had to go. White people were allowed to go to the best schools with all the resources. And a man stood up called Martin Luther King, and he said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And he led what was referred to as a civil rights movement. And I'm satisfied that people also said that Martin Luther King was divisive. I am satisfied that they also said that he was mashing up the country. But when you see you're on the path, that is the right path. When you see you're clothed with the armor of righteousness, you are not afraid of anybody because you're standing up for what is right. And today, the same Martin Luther King that look back and say, rather than mashing up America, he was trying to save America. And we here in the CCM party are saying that we are not mashing up anything. We are not being divisive. We are not being greedy. We are simply saying that the people of Nevis are no less than anybody else.
CCM,
and we are going to stand up for them. It's as simple as that. Now, when we talk about fair share, people think it's just about money. And yes, money is important. Because when we did our analysis up to the end of 2021, out of $5.3 billion that came into Bastille, only 400 million made its way to Nevis. That means Sinkers keep nearly $5 billion down there for itself. I don't know where the money has gone to, because it seems to me that Timo could only talk about what Nevis get, he forget what Sinkers get. So that is important. I have made the point time and time again that you have a cake to divide between me and you. You can't know if you get a fair slice of the cake unless you know the size of the cake. And he keep telling us, oh, you get that slice, be satisfied. We say, no, we want to know how big the cake is. He not talk about that. He forget that part. But fair share goes beyond our money, you know. Fair share also goes to opportunity. I use the example of the peace program. This was a program that the CCM supported to put our youngsters on an alternative path. To say to them, listen, we're going to create jobs and businesses to allow you to do something productive in the community. And it has worked. It has worked because we see that crime is down. The problem that we've had with it, that they have said to Nevis, the program is closed. No new people can go on the program. But the last numbers I saw, there were 1,225 people on the program. I know how much in Nevis? 71. 71 out of 1,225.
Oh, Lord.
And I asked the question of the youngsters, because they come and talk to me all the time. Money was put at Development Bank from the program so they could access loans to start small businesses. They are applying for the loans. They can't get an answer from Development Bank. You talk about fairness, our youngsters deserve fairness too. We look at the STEP program. I am the Premier of Nevis. Alexis is the Deputy Premier. Eric is in cabinet in Nevis. We are also elected members sitting in a cabinet in St. Kitts. Nobody in the cabinet could get a report on the STEP program. So again, you have to find your own way to get information. Well, thank God I have friends in different places. And so the numbers are coming in. And when we look at the numbers, the STEP program had nearly 5,000 people on it. What they did was they took off something like 1,500 and they put them and give them a different name, parks and beaches. The others, they call them STEP, but STEP by any other name is still STEP. It's a work program. And while in Nevis we have been stuck at just over 300 workers on STEP, for the last several months, in fact, I believe for the last 2 years, in St. Kitts, people are going on step every day. But they tell Nevis the program closed. So we can't get a young man or a young woman onto the program. But in St. Kitts, they can go on. These things aren't fair. They require fair share too. When we look at the PAP program, you all know there's this program, again, that is CCM supported in the federal cabinet, where people can get $500 per month for households that are earning less than $3,000. And when we put that in place to benefit all the people of the Federation, I see some numbers just yesterday. And the numbers I saw for the month of May say that there are 5,606 people in the country getting the PAP, but only 700 in Nevis. 5,606 people getting the PAP, but only 700 in Nevis. And they keep telling us, like every other program, the PAP is closed. We can't add any more people to the PAP. But in St. Kitts, every day, people being added to the PAP. So when we talk about fairness, we talk about equity, we talk about justice, we talk about fair share, our people need to understand that we're talking about fair opportunity as well. Every man, woman, and child in Nevis must be able to get the same opportunity as every man, woman, and child in St. Kitts. And I don't understand what is difficult about that for some to comprehend. It is not a difficult proposition. We demand the same treatment, and this CCM party is not joining with anybody and will not support anybody who is not prepared to do right by all the people of the country. And that is our simple position. Somebody said to me the other day as we were doing our house to house, they said, why did it take you so long to come to the public? And I said to them what I say because it is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. When you're in a relationship, you try to work things out. You try your best because we all know the effort that we put into making team unity possible. And so you sat from time to time. I tell people I sat with Timothy at Four Seasons. When we were finished the meeting in a hotel room at Four Seasons, he came and he said he wanted a hug. Me never so frightened in all my life. We sat in a meeting and we discussed these issues. We met at Park Hyatt for breakfast. We met at Serendipity in St. Kitts for lunch. We met at a place named Rock Lobster in Frigate Bay. We had a retreat over at Park Hyatt. We met at his office. We wrote and exchanged correspondence. Anybody says that we did not make every effort, the truth is not in them. Because we made every effort, and even after the pot boiled over, Sean and I together continued to make effort after effort after effort. But this man was like a hardened child. He wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen. And so he preferred to collapse the government than to compromise.
Lord.
And look at it now. Collapse the government and couldn't find candidates. And such as we bring now, we might as well have not bothered. Because the reality is that he understands that his time is up. His time is up. And I'm saying that in the next few weeks we will have an election. As much Bo Peep and Bo Peep and Bo Peep as they're playing night run till morning, catch 'em, and morning is coming. They must call the election. The election has to come. And when the election comes, I know that the people of Nevis are going to say 9, 10, 11, CCM again. CCM again.
CCM, Concerned Citizen Movement.
And when the Saints go marching in, I know that Eric, Alexis, and Mark will be in that number. Straight back to Church Street, I want you all to send us. Because you understand that there are big issues And as I like to say, we are living in serious times, and serious times demand serious attention from serious people. None of us are on a platform saying we're going to sink it for the money, but we don't want the work. They say send them to sink it, they don't want no portfolio. They only want a check. And they're going to give people the money. Well, how we know they're going to give people the money? They used to say that taking the money was wrong. Now they say we're going to take the money, but we're not going to keep it for ourselves. So I am confused. They used to say you can't do 2 jobs, but now they're applying for 2 jobs. They used to say a lot of things, but now it appears that all that they've said is of no moment. And I'm saying, if you can't trust a political party to abide by its own constitution, you can't trust them to do what they say they will do, you can't trust them to not do what they say they will not do, then I tell you, leave them where they are. Leave them where they are. And send 3 Hebrew boys to Bastia to do the job. They ask why we want to go back to St. Kitts. We want to go back to finish the work. We want to go back to work because we have unfinished business in Bastia. That is why we're asking you to send us back. And that is why I believe that the people of Gingerland, St. George, will continue to stick and stay with the Honorable Eric Rohan Evelyn.
Eric Evelyn.
I believe the people over there in St. Thomas's, the people in St. James, the people in number 11, who for years cried out for effective representation in Bastia. They want a representative who is not going to go to St. Kitts to say Nevis don't want nothing. They want somebody who's going to go to St. Kitts to stand up for them. And I will tell you, I am not going into any battle without Alexis Jeffers as my deputy. Because I know when Zook stand up, he's strong like a lion. That is what people want. And over here in St. John's and St. Paul's, I want my people to know that they've been with me and I have been with them since 2007. And we have stayed together. We love each other. We work together. And they know that in me they have somebody who will never, ever depart from them.
You messing them up, Brantley.
We have the best team on offer in this election. The best team on offer in this election. Others are making noise. We are coming to you talking about real issues, real representation. No, the time is growing short. But I cannot leave Cherry Gardens without saying to the good people over here how happy I have been to finally solve the issues they had over here with Soca Ways. When the homes over here were built, a beautiful neighborhood, so many homes had improper infrastructure. And as a result, sometimes you saw the water running on the roads. I came and I said that problem had to be fixed. And I want to thank my cabinet colleagues for supporting. I want to thank Alistair Thompson for spearheading the effort that we were able to bring relief to over 50% of the homeowners in Cherry Gardens who had suffered from that problem. Commitment made, commitment kept. And I believe that people are now more comfortable in their homes. The homes that they're paying for. The homes that they work hard for. Because this government cares. And I am very proud of that fact. People ask us, if you get that fair share that you're campaigning for, what will you do with it? I think it's a fair question to ask. And I'm saying, well, if I get that money, I'm going to pay down some of the debt that we have in Nevis to make things more manageable, because every penny that you have to spend from your budget to repay debt is 1 penny less for education, for healthcare, for security, for infrastructure. So I want to pay down the debt. I want us to be able to finally deliver the vision that we've had of a highway from Long Point to connect us to Gingerland. It can be done. It will open up thousands of acres of land in that area for development. I want us to be delivering the promise of geothermal energy. All of you who are looking at your electricity bills now, you're seeing the ever-increasing price of fuel and therefore the ever-increasing price of electricity. If we had geothermal, we wouldn't have to worry about that. I would want to deliver that hospital project, state-of-the-art healthcare for the people of Nevis. This CCM government will want to deliver more water, better electricity, better roads, and I know that the Honorable Alexis Jeffers wants to deliver more homes. As a Minister of Housing in the Nevis Island Administration, there has been no housing minister in the history of Nevis that has performed like he has performed. Right now in Nevis, we have housing developments at Maddens, Rice's, Craddock Road, Hamilton, Garner's, and right here in Prospect, just above Cherry Gardens. And all of that is happening at the same time under the leadership of Alexis Jeffers. So imagine how much more we can do. Eric Evelyn wants to develop the market in Gingerland. He has big plans for it. He wants to develop that market so that market shop can regain what it used to be, a bustling commercial center in the heart of Gingerland. And so we have plans that we want to execute. We have promised our young people that we will separate the sixth form and have a standalone college of further education in Nevis for them. These are the plans that we have. Our schools need to be refurbished. They need to be modernized and computerized. These are the plans that we have. And so we're not just coming saying we want our fair share. We are coming to say that the developmental needs of the island of Nevis demand that our people be given access to the resources to develop our island. That is what we are about. And I would want the people of Nevis to rally with us because we're not seeking to do this for us. We are not concerned about self. We are concerned about our island and our development. And I believe one of the speakers, I would want to think it was Alexis, said before me that when Nevis does well, the Federation does well. When Sinkis does well, the Federation does well. When both of our islands are doing well, our country is doing well. This is not a competition. We complement each other. And the People's Action Movement and the Concerned Citizens Movement, two movements moving together for the development of our nation and our people. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that in a few short weeks, we will have an election. In a few short weeks, we will ask you to go out and vote. I'm asking everybody in Cherry Gardens and all of you hearing my voice to make sure that you check that your voter's ID is in order. If it is expired, go to the office on Monday morning, right there by the credit union building, and speak to the professional staff at the electoral office and get a new ID. But don't worry yourself, because the law say that if your ID somehow is expired or lost, you can vote with your passport, you can vote with your social security card, you can vote with your driver's license. Once you have an official government issued ID, voter ID, social security card, driver's license or passport, you can vote. My plea, my admonition, my request is to all the people of Cherry Gardens and all the people of St. John's and St. Paul's and all the people of St. Thomas's and St. James and all the people of the beautiful St. George, that you go out in your numbers and vote overwhelmingly for the Concerned Citizens Movement. Let us ensure that whenever this election comes, and it will come soon, that we send a clear message to St. Kitts and to the world that the people of Nevis speak with one voice, and that one voice is the voice of the Concerned Citizens Movement.
CCM, Concerned Citizen Movement.
We don't want to go back to St. Kitts where when we say in CCM this is what should be done, You hear somebody else saying, we don't want nothing for Nevis. We want one voice. And I want to thank publicly the Honorable Eric Evelyn and the Honorable Alexis Jeffers for standing with me and standing with the CCM and standing with Nevis. Standing up, all three of us, singing the same Sankey, singing from the same hymn sheet, singing the same lines in the same key, singing in the same pew, in the same church, singing from the church and for the church of Nevis, because that is who we represent. That is important. And you know, I remember in St. Kitts, you know, they try all kind of things to divide the three of us. Eric and Alexis may not talk as much as me, but me like to talk. They try all kind of things to divide us. They put up all kind of stories, say, oh, they got Eric. They got Eric. They put up all kind of things, calling Alexis, say they want to meet him with Alexis. And I know, the Alexis that I know, the Zook that I know, the Eric that I know, the boy they call Tan and Luti that I know, I believe that they should have asked me before they tried to go at them. Because they would have known that in the CCM we don't sell out.
Lord.
We are not for sale. We represent the people of Nevis, and if you're not doing right by Nevis, we cannot support you. Simple as that. Simple as that. They say that I am the troublemaker. And that Zook and Eric not with me. I say, hear them stupid people there. They don't even understand Nevis. They don't understand this great party. They don't understand what we're seeking to do. Because if they understood, they will never chat them foolishness. And so we are here, all three of us standing firm. 9, 10, and 11. And as I depart the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Cherry Gardens, those in your cars, those on the internet, those home in their bedroom, let me hear your CCM. Are you ready?
Alexis Jeffers, Eric Evelyn, you don't know.
Cherry Gardens, thank you for having us. It is always my pleasure to be here, and I promise that we will be back house to house. Ask us the hard questions. Request of us what our plans and programs are, what we intend to do, because I assure you that the Concerned Citizens Movement is the best team, the strongest team. We are the Nevis team, and to use language from Eric, we are the dream team for the island of Nevis. So let me ask you again, CCM people, Nevis people, are you ready? Thank you. Good night. I am advised that next Saturday we will be in Craddock Road. Next Thursday we'll be in Craddock Road. I apologize, but normally they tell me what to say. So next Thursday we'll be in Craddock Road as we take the message of CCM, the message of hope, the message for the people of Nevis to every highway and byway, to every lane, to every village and hamlet on this island of Nevis. CCM people, get ready. The big blue machine is on the move. Good night and God bless you.
None of them can run the place like you. CCM, now we are doing one thing. We not follow no